All right, so what we're going to look at in Illustrator is this great tool. It's called Transform Again. And there's so many things that you can do with Transform Again to make your life easier in Illustrator. So let's take an example of a very basic function here. So I have this, let's do rectangle here. And I want to take it and I want to make it smaller, but I want to repeat that transition again and again. So what I want to do is I want to take, what do I want to do? I want to scale this. So you could hit S on your keyboard to hit scale and then enter, or find the scale tool and double click on it. Either way. Now, I'm going to scale this 75%. You can look at the preview and see what it looks like. And then this is very important, hit copy. So you can see what it did. It scaled it 75% and then copied it. If I want to do that action again and again and again, it's called Transform Again. To do that, the keyboard shortcut is Command D, and you can see I can just do that again and 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 again. And I can make these shapes that are in there, which is really handy. You can do that for basically anything that you would like. So let's take the ellipse tool, and let's also do that. I'm going to hit S on my keyboard and hit enter, and you can see I'm going to do 75% and do copy. And let's do that again, Command D, Command D, Command D. And I can control that in many different ways. So that's a really great way to kind of transform something. Now, one other function looking in here, let's go ahead and do, a triangle, 3 sides. That's a very tiny triangle. Now, if I use this transform again, so I'm going to do the same thing, S on the keyboard for scale, enter, 75%, copy. You can see when I do that, you can see how uneven these are, right? So to get around that a little bit, so let's just undo this. If we select that and we go to Object and we go to Path and we go to Offset Path. I'm going to say I'm going to offset it. I don't know. Let's do 0.25. Let's preview that. Okay, I like that. So that's going to make it bigger. So let's go minus. You can see that brought it in, but it brought it in evenly, and I'm going to do OK. The only problem with that is I have to then do that over and over again, right? But if you want that kind of inset look like that, that's the only way that you're going to get that. Okay. So with Transform Again, there's lots of other stuff that we can do with that. We can also take, for example, let's take this ellipse. I'm going to rotate it using the same thing. So I'm going to rotate. And let's say I want to set exactly where I want to rotate it from, right? So on the rotate, I click on here. You can't really see it. Let's see if I can zoom in. There's this little anchor that's right there that's telling me that's where I'm going to rotate it from. So I can take that and rotate it, hold down the Option key, it'll duplicate it, and again, Command D all the way around. Now that's great if you want to do something that's freeform, but let's say you want something really specific. I want to rotate it 15 degrees. Same thing, R on the keyboard for rotate, hold down Option, and then click. It'll bring this up, and you're going to say 15 degrees, copy. And now I can go all the way around, and I know it's a perfect 15 degrees all the way around. This is just so fantastic. It's so easy to use. It's great to do. Now I can do that with any shape. So let's take the Polygon tool. I can do it with triangle. Let's do R for rotate, Option, click where I want to rotate it from, do 15 degrees, copy, and again, I can do that. Now, if you said, well, I don't want to necessarily rotate it, I want to move it in that same way. You can do the same thing with that. Same thing using that Option click mode for it. So let's do scale, and let's scale from the outside here, Option click, 75, copy, and you can see I can do the same thing. Right? Pretty cool. So it takes things that are repetitive. It can also take the idea if I just want a bunch of lines. Option drag these over, Command D, and it'll make a bunch of lines. Okay, so the idea of being able to maneuver things, so if I wanted to make a grid of squares, for example, let's say I knew I wanted that space, Command D, all the way across. I could select these, drag these down, Command D, Command D, Command D. right? And now you have your block of squares. If you wanted to make sure, I think I have mine turned off, Smart Guides. If you want to make sure this is the same amount, you can see the Smart Guides will kind of pop up. It should tell me. I don't know why it's not telling me the space in between. It should. You can kind of do it that way. And we'll look at some other things in another video of how to make grids and things like that using a slightly different way. But you can do that with this as well. Just make sure your measurements are right when you're doing it.